asking me.
All right, so my number 4 game of the year, top 10 for 2020 is Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Okay.
Nice.
Got
So,
four.
Nice.
got 4.
All right.
It's really, really good. And to be honest, had it been many other years where there isn't, I think there were some really great masterpieces this year. Like I feel like my top 3 are like all masterpieces in my opinion, which is rare to have that many masterpieces in a year, but I did have that many. I feel that this could have been like my number 1 game of the year. Like it's really,
Dang.
really, really good. Like I was really shocked about how well it looked when I first played the game. I mean, of course, I'm playing on a PS5, so I have the ray tracing, 60 frames per second. But it was just an improvement even from Odyssey. And remember, this is a PS4 game, right? And so like as I'm playing this, and I was thinking to myself, it's like, gosh, man, what were they doing at CD Projekt Red? Like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, like I know it had some bugs, but a normal amount, like any new game has when it comes out.
Yeah.
And this is fine. Like this engine's fine enough. Like this is a good engine. I don't know what they were doing to make it so unplayable on the PS4. Like I just don't know what goes into that. But this game runs great. It looks wonderful. It looks excellent. I loved the combat from the moment I started playing it. The combat was a lot of fun. The stealth mechanics are cool. The boss fights are kind of new and interesting and unique, kind of like what we talked about in the trailer, where you actually have a boss fight with the health bar, and you got to kind of figure out how to beat him and defeat him. Another neat thing that they added this time around was they kind of took the Breath of the Wild route, and you just climb anything. Like there isn't like these preset like white marks on the thing that you can grab and see the path to climb up. Kind of like how Ghost of Tsushima did, where you can kind of see the only way you can climb.
Right.
As if this is plausibly climbable, you can climb it. If it's not plausibly climbable, you can't. Like
It's Genshin Impact, dude.
It's like Genshin Impact. Yeah, they took like that's so much. It's so cool. I feel so free in like Valhalla. I know I can just go wherever I need to go. I can get there. Like if you're traversing a mountain and you come across a part that's like frozen solid with like the ice spears, you can't climb that, right? But you wouldn't be able to normally, right? But if it's a rock side, you don't have to see where you can climb. Just go and he'll climb, because like plausibly there'd be somewhere to grab there, right? We always think that, right? As we're like playing a game, it's like, come on, how can you not climb that? Obviously you could. So this game they unlocked that, so you have like full roam, full freedom to climb, go wherever you want.
Nice.
As I mentioned in the previous podcast on what we were playing right now is I'm playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, so I'm very much into it right now. But another cool thing is they added like this constellation of abilities, and it's like hundreds of abilities, man. Like it's just a literal constellation of stars of abilities you can collect. And so every level is like super exciting. Like every level you get, it's like a lot of fun. It's really cool. Like I get so pumped when I see like a gear treasure emblem on my map. I'm running to it, man. I'm grabbing it, and you get new weapons, new gear, which is what I wish Ghost of Tsushima did. Different types of weapons, to play around with. The flail is a lot of fun. Swords, axes, two-handed axes, one-handed axes. It's just like I've been really enjoying the heck out of it. I'm still blown away about how awesome it looks. It's like it's not the Last of Us 2 level detail and looks, but man, it gets close. And it's like, this is good, man. This is really, really good. Yeah, you don't have to be the Last of Us 2, like with CD Projekt Red, like etc. You don't have to be that. Like this is really good. Like it may not quite be there, but man, it is close, and it's bug free. Like I don't have a whole bunch of issues. It plays very smooth. I don't have these frame rate dips.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I'm just really having a blast with Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It makes me super excited for Far Cry 6. Like I can't wait to see what that's gonna be like, because Ubi's really impressing me. Like they always seem to do a little bit better every time they release a new Assassin's Creed game. I recommend it, man, to everybody. It's really great. Really, really great.
I'll try that one out. All right, guys. So for my number 4, this one really surprised me. And shout out to Game Pass, because you made it possible for me to try it. So number 4 for me is the Untitled Goose Game.
Wow.
Now,
Really?
This game is a masterpiece, man. Hear me out. This game is a masterpiece.
That's from left field
So,
for sure.
Yeah.
This game is a puzzle stealth game. Now you're like, what? A stealth game? So you're a goose in this game, and you're in a town. As you do certain things, you unlock different pieces of the town, and it's a puzzle game. So the main features of the goose is you can pick things up, you can make a noise, you could honk, and then you can kind of like go prone and kind of go stealthy. So with these mechanics, you have to do certain things. So in each town, you have a checklist. So I'm not gonna spoil the puzzles, but like for example, the first area, you have to get a hat off somebody's head. So you're like, I'm a goose. How am I just gonna grab a hat off of somebody's head?
Right.
Another one is you have to break a kid's glasses. So there's all these crazy funny things that you have to do.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And you have to get creative with the world,
Okay.
So you're like, okay, how can I make a sound that causes a reaction that makes somebody drop something, So in some certain situations, you'll have to, tie somebody's shoes when they're not looking. In some situations, when someone you're going to have to make a sound so they go look, you'll have to steal something. It's so funny. And you have to get so creative that it just makes an awesome viewing experience. So let's say when I was playing, my wife was watching me. She's like, "Oh, you need to do this. Oh, you need to do that." It's one of those games where if you're playing it, everyone in the room will get into it. Mm-hmm. It got good, reviews on Metacritic for an indie puzzle game. I think it was free on PlayStation Plus at one point. I think on launch it may have been. I'm not sure.
Oh no.
But I played it on the Game Pass. Okay. And when I finished the game, it just saddened me because I just wanted more levels. I fell in love with this little goose, It
was popular. People loved it.
It was an awesome game. So I highly recommend everyone try this puzzle game.
Number 4.
And you will not be disappointed. This game was a shocker. I played it because it was free, and I saw a couple reviews on it, and I like puzzle games, so I just wanted to give it a try. And instantly when I played it, I was hooked. I didn't beat the game in one sitting, but I pretty much played through this game constantly, and I was very sad when I beat it. So that was why it was my number 4 of the year. It came out in December of 2019, so it barely just made it for me.
Good argument. You're very sad when you finish. Okay, that means something for sure. Yeah.
That's cool. So number 4 for me was actually Ghost of Tsushima.
Wow.
So the reason why it got high up there for me is because I thought that it was still a noteworthy game, regardless of any of the previous hate that we've given it when we've ever discussed it or whatever. Some of the things that I wish would have been different, might have been like the character and like how he was portrayed, different things like that. Maybe like a little bit of the combat, but like Ray was saying, the duels were really awesome. They were almost like movie scenes in a sense, with the way that they started off and then the way you're in the fight. It's like different from all the other battles. The fact that once you start getting some of the higher up abilities and whatnot, you're starting to be able to chain attacks and be able to take out like large crowds of dudes easier. It kind of feels like your skills are increasing in a sense, you know what I mean? Because you become more proficient in killing. You can't really get anything where it's like your strikes hit harder or anything like that, but you just become like it doesn't require as much effort, you know what I mean? You throw a smoke bomb down, they're distracted, boom, you're hitting one, you're cutting another, and then you can do that again, or you can go into
you're OP,
a different move, with throwing something else, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like I like that you can see the progression of Sakai as he gets more comfortable with the position that he's trying to go into to be able to survive. I don't like the fact that like Ray was saying before, that they kind of like shame you for going stealth or whatever, saying it's dishonorable and whatnot. But I kind of just ignored it after a while.
Yeah.
That part of the story didn't really faze me after a moment, because it's like, okay, this is just dumb. You guys are just gonna say whatever. So I'm just gonna execute people in front of you just to see if you say anything. You know what I mean? I'm going to like assassinate somebody in front of my uncle to see if it triggers like dialogue that's like, no, that is shameful or whatever, but it doesn't do anything. Yeah. So it's literally just the way the story is gonna go. It's how it is. I think that even if you did not ever assassinate anybody besides the one time that they introduce it, it would still be in the storyline. The Mongol would still talk to your uncle and tell him how shameful you are because you're doing dishonorable things and all that stuff. You know, he would still say it. So that part is kind of like, it's disappointing that they wouldn't actually invest time into that, you know, to make it a little bit more intricate with those details as far as, you know, the game goes. But other than that, like aesthetically, the freaking land looks beautiful. Like all of the trees, like, you know, the animals, all of the stuff, like you said before, the way that they utilize damn near every animal that's in the game except for maybe like boars or something like that. They serve a purpose, you know. So like the birds, they serve a purpose. The freaking foxes, they serve a purpose, you know. So butterflies, they serve like a purpose, you know what I mean. So it's kind of cool, like how the world interacts with you, you know what I mean, not you interacting with the world. So that is what I liked about it. I did like some of the costumes and the get-ups and whatnot, you know, the attire, although I do wish that it was way more RPG elemented, you know, so that you could actually gain like a different sword. I mean, you were able to upgrade, so I stand corrected, you were able to upgrade your sword and your armor to be a little bit more stronger and whatnot. But it wasn't like, you know, you just had the same sword.
You weren't loot hunting.
You weren't loot hunting. So that part was gone. There were some weapons that you could hunt, which I thought was kind of cool. Some weapons and armor that you could actually do like a type of quest line to do. I think you decided to fight like these big guys to be able to get like a certain piece of armor. You know, after you were done with all of that. So there were some mythological grinds that you could do, which were kind of cool. But I just enjoyed the gameplay, and I still feel like it deserved like a top spot in my book, because I don't feel like it wasn't quite a masterpiece, but I feel like it was just there. Like they just needed to do a couple more things, and it would have been there. So
yeah,
that
I definitely had a lot more problems with it, but
yeah.
But yeah, you know, I get it. I get why a lot of people like it too. It was a pretty game. I just feel like it was also a success of the time it launched because there was so much outrage over The Last of Us 2 that.
So you think it piggybacked off of that?
So you're saying people rebound to this?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I felt like this was a rebound. Like we need a champion. The Last of Us 2 wasn't the champion we wanted.
This is it.
So this is the champion that we wanted because look at it. It meets more of the parameters that we were hoping for in a game. And so it just became like I just hit Last of Us 2 so much. I want this game to win. Like we need Ghost of Tsushima to win. Like this is the one that we need to all get behind. And I think a lot of the people who were talking that way or acting that way all over the place. It was like all over the place. Just really hadn't played The Last of Us 2 in my opinion. But even if you didn't like The Last of Us 2, like even if you didn't like some things about The Last of Us 2, you can't deny certain things about it. You just can't deny certain things about it. You cannot deny the mastery of that game. So I just think it was like a little bit of like it gained a little bit of steam because of the hate on Last of Us 2. People always want a champion every year, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, from the beginning when either of those two were announced, we already knew that we were to get both of those games. So
yeah,
you know, I tried not to let any of that other stuff.
Yeah, me neither. I didn't look at any of the spoilers. I didn't look at any of what was going on with Last of Us 2.
Right.
Either Ghost either. I mean, we watched the presentation gameplay they showed.
Right.
I watched the trailer of Last of Us 2, but I wasn't getting into any of the walkthroughs.
Yeah, I didn't check out the leak story,
the leaks on either one of the games. So I went in both completely my own opinion, my own perspective, and that's just how I felt. You know?
I love you, me.